All right, guys, I've said it before. I will say it again. It's probably time to take your money out of the bank. Maybe not all of it, keep some in to pay the bills, keep some in to run your business, whatever you do. But it's definitely time for you to take out maybe like an emergency fund and get it in physical cash. Leave your investments, leave them where they are. IRAs, 401ks, maybe you have a precious metal IRA. But I can tell you with all certainty that I am taking out large amounts of cash, which the government thinks is questionable, and the government can suck it. So we're going to be talking about this, guys. The economy is a ticking time bomb. We're talking TikTok. We're talking Google's whitewashing of the news, AI. It's here to save us all. They've got AI overviews that will tell you these are not the droids you're looking for. Guys, huge victory on the DEI, CRT, SEL, et cetera, woke indoctrination front with what I think is a groundbreaking court case. Huge victory and U.S. Navy shenanigans, which is great because we've got Sailor Joe here today. All that and more, and it all starts right now. All right, before we get into the topics, we've got Outspoken Samantha and Casey Gates. Guys, introduce yourselves.
Ladies first.
I am Outspoken Samantha. And I have a cold tonight, so if I just start coughing randomly, it just is what it is. I'm sorry, guys.
She's got the vid. Got the vid. But she is Outspoken Samantha, Texan extraordinaire, content creator extraordinaire. You can follow her on YouTube, on X, on Getter, on all the things. Instagram. Links below.
I'm everywhere.
Also, since I'm mentioning that, Samantha, sincerest apologies. I think a version control thing happened with the show planner, and the version that I've used for like the last 8 weeks or whatever hasn't had your social media links. It's been rectified. They are below. Casey Gates, who are you, brother? What do you do?
Who is I? Casey Gates never hates, only celebrates. Joe and I, of course, have done a couple of shows in the past. I'm the squid sailor extraordinaire that Joe so lovingly mentioned earlier. I'm sure I'm going to hear a lot of talk about the Navy tonight. But yeah, you can find me over at clubcaseygates.locals.com.
Guys, the link is below. Hector, I see you're calling me, man. I can't pick up. I'm live. Hector's out in Oklahoma. All right, so let's jump into the stories as I'm getting things squared away over here. So guys, things are not looking great for the economy. So there's a really good what are they called? There's a really good account on X, and if I could get it up here, TK, dude. Shot it. The Kobayashi letter, they put out really good financial analysis. But just talking about a couple of quick points here. I know we're not finance nerds, but hey, you are a consumer out there listening to this, watching this. You are the master of your own destiny when it comes to your personal finance. You can make wise decisions. You can make dumb decisions. But the government can screw you no matter what. So when we look at this chart here, it's talking about excess credit card debt. Or actually, this one's about savings. So when you know what kicked off a couple of years ago when going into that struggle, Americans had about $2.1 trillion saved. And now they're negative 72 billion in the hole. We see the same thing happening when it comes to credit. So people used to have, it used to be about 12% of Americans that use credit carried a balance. Now it's looking like 38 to 45% are carrying balances. People are way underwater on their homes, on their vehicles, because we have ridiculous vehicle debt. And the government pumped in some trillions of dollars into the economy, thinking it would stimulate things, but instead, the consumer base has a negative $72 billion deficit. So the government is deficit spending, the citizen is deficit spending. You don't actually have to be an economist to figure out that what's being created is called a bubble, folks. So there's going to be an economic collapse. And if you're thinking, surely the government's got some kind of savings that we don't know about, you're wrong. The government's, what we spend on the national defense budget, so the military, the taxes on our debt exceeds that annual budget. So the government is more underwater than you are. So if you have cash, something's going to happen. I don't know what. I don't know what agency, what regulatory body is going to freeze what types of transactions or assets. Probably mutual funds and stock trading first, and then probably electronic funds transfers, like you trying to write yourself checks or take money out of the ATM. It's probably going to get frozen sometime in the next 12 to 24 months. It doesn't matter who the president is. So that's exciting. You guys looking forward to that?
Well, look at the regulations that are going on with cryptocurrencies as well. To where, I mean, I was just reading something today about how they want to crack down on crypto. They want to take our fiat-based currency and turn it into digital. What's it, the CDSC or something like that, some coin that they're coming up with. And they want to take it away from Bitcoin. I don't know. Everything looks bad. Actually, and it's one of the questions that I immediately thought about when you're looking at your savings number. I wonder if the savings, that's based off of savings accounts, correct?
Yep.
That you were looking at, Joe?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm wondering how much of those savings accounts, they're not taking in crypto. How much of that is being transferred over to Bitcoin or Doge or whatever?
Possibly,
You know what I mean?
possibly. Now, I don't know how the U.S. government tracks that or how it tabulates that into these numbers, which these numbers come from, what are these guys called? The Bureau of Labor Statistics and that other body. That's TikTok girl. We'll get to you later. Why are these out of order? I did a bad job. Okay. Yeah, that is interesting. Surely people are looking at that. PBD, Patrick Bet-David, he's been in the finance game for a while, and he says we've gone for $2.1 trillion in savings in American savings accounts to zero, which is technically wrong. It's negative $70 billion. So rosiest outlook case. You're thinking maybe some of these people have seen the writing on the wall and they moved their cash positions out of cash savings and into crypto.
Correct.
Some
Which
people are
is
doing that.
very, very hard to track.
Yeah, some people are
Yeah,
doing
well,
that.
especially
Now,
when you,
God,
as well, when you start talking about things like cold storage and stuff like that, I mean, it's Michael Saylor is one of these guys that talks about it all the time. Where it's like, once I have my stuff in cold storage, you don't know where it is. You want to ask me where all my crypto went? I lost it in a boating accident. That's it. So yeah, it's really hard to look at these numbers.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would say only the swarthiest among us have done stuff like that. I'm not big into crypto. I know a lot of my followers are, but hey, a lot of you guys are into Q and a lot of other weird stuff. I'm into cash, I'm into gold, and I'd like to get into physical asset holdings, as in cash real estate, cash land, commercial or residential, doesn't really matter.
If you don't hold it, you don't own it.
All right, so the last
If
thing
you
I'll
can't hold it in
say,
your hand, it's not yours.
The last thing I'll say about this point, let me bring up the video. Hold on, Chad. Hold on. Oh, no. Don't ask us something. So this is Chad Wright. And I bring up Chad Wright because, some people might say, Joe, that's an appeals to authority. No, I want to appeal to wisdom here. This is Chad Wright. He's a former U.S. Navy SEAL. His entire Navy career, he was a special warfare fighter. The guys that I work with day in and day out are special operators. The ones I know personally, but also the ones out here on the internet. John Lovell's talking about this. Even ones who aren't super political. Jocko Bouillons. Will Inc. is talking about this as well. On all of the forward operating bases, not the big ones like Germany's, Japan's, but the little tiny little fobs out in back scratching nowhere, and in Africa and Asia, the little places you can't find on a map. And Case, I wonder if you've ever been to one of these fobs, but they all have a building, a heavily secured building with a heavily secured room. And in that room is pallets of cash, not checks, not digital numbers on the screen, but cold, hard cash, because they know that's what moves the levers worldwide, is showing up with a bag full of money. And the reason that they do that is because it can't be seized. It can't really be taken by force because you're taking on some of the most hardcore, American warriors if you're going to try and steal it. So good luck with that. But they know it's not like land, like your home can be seized. It's not a digital asset which can be seized or frozen, but it's cold, hard cash. And there's some wisdom in having that. So this is a really good video. It's like 8 minutes long. We're not going to watch it. But Chad Wright, the video is called, it's 3 of 7 project. It's called Get Your Money Out of the Bank Now. And it's worth 6 minutes and 57 seconds of your time. All right. So Samantha, do you want to take us into this?
Well, I personally, I saw this video on TikTok and I thought it was weird because I don't know where this girl is from, but apparently she's
I think she said
coming
Sweden.
From,
Yeah, she's from Sweden.
Okay, Sweden. Okay, and I've never been to Sweden. I'm not familiar with the culture of Sweden, but she is in America and apparently finds it very difficult to not communicate, but to relate to Americans. I guess we're so different here because we have no problem talking to each other.
Do you want to watch
public,
it?
And I guess we're much more social than people in Sweden. I don't know where she lives, but I'm going to assume that the part of America that she is in is not like New York or anywhere on the East Coast, because
yeah, they don't talk either.
Exactly. I mean, the way that she is portraying Americans here, I'm like, okay, you're probably like in Texas or something, because how
y'all doing today?
She's saying that we're all very nice and that we're all very that we're friendly here. So I'm thinking she's got to be in a southern state somewhere. But I thought it was a very interesting take on American culture in general.
Yeah, here, let's take a listen to, I think she's a Swede.
Difficult thing about moving from Sweden to America, people ask me. Well, I can answer that. People in America are so outgoing. Me, an extroverted, outgoing person, seems reserved and shy here. It's like I just need to train my mind that in the US, you can speak to people in public. But I still feel so awkward saying, "How are you?" at the grocery store. So I come across as rude, but I don't want to be rude. I'm just not used to it.
Yeah, I think she's making a problem where a problem doesn't exist. You don't have to talk to people.
Well, not to mention, I live downtown Solvang. This is literally like Swedishville here, and everybody's friendly as hell.
Honestly,
we have like 40% Swede.
Honestly, for like a single woman out in the world, or even if you're not single, you're just out by yourself, there's a good case for being understandably rude. I don't agree as a security professional with a lot of Gavin DeBecker's security philosophy. He's obviously one of the best in the world, and I respect his creds and his experience. But he wrote a book called The Gift of Fear, and it talks about specifically for women, be a little cagey, be a little rude. That's fine, because nice girls are found in ditches all the time because, oh yeah, I'll help you. What's the serial killer's name? He lured a bunch of his victims as a man pretending to need assistance with car trouble from chicks, and he killed all those chicks. Was it wasn't Dahmer, it was the other one. Yeah, but miss
Silence
me with
of
that.
the Lambs had that guy in it.
Yeah,
It was loosely based off of him. I can't
exactly.
remember, yeah, he would have like a cast and all this other stuff, and yeah.
Oh, help me.
Was she a big old fat girl?
I think that is so funny. This conversation definitely went in a direction I was not expecting it to go in. But I will say, I watch a lot of true crime. Like when I don't want to pay attention to politics, like I listen to true crime. And I did notice the other day, I can't remember what story I was listening to, but it always starts out where the victim, if it happens to be a woman, they're like, she was so trusting. She was so kind. She was the kind of person that was so open. And I'm just like, why do they always start like that? It's always the nice people. It's like they're not approaching the women that have like the, RBF going on. So stay safe. Stay safe. Keep your RBF. You won't be found in a ditch somewhere. Yeah.
That's what predators do. They look for prey.
Yeah, exactly. They can sniff it out.
Can I just...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Can I just expose my little bit of butthurtness? I felt like she was a little condescending when she kind of does the American accent. And it's like, just talk like yourself.
Yeah, a little bit.
All
Maybe
I
there
know
was
is
a little culture appropriation. I don't know.
Yep.
I have come to America, and all I know is there aren't very many able skippers here. I feel very uncomfortable. How dare you?
Unbelievable. All right, where did I put these images? Screenshots. All right, so I want to get into what's going on with Google. Guys, Google is always in the news, never for anything good. Oh, come on, Joe. You took the screenshots. Where are they? Is it this one? Okay, where the heck did that open?
I was just giving you compliments about how organized you were.
I am very organized, but I'll be super upfront. My family, we ran out of the house like an hour and a half ago to get dinner because my day just got wrecked. Car trouble. My moonroof is leaking or something. It's been raining nonstop in Northern Virginia. So date created. It's been raining.
Out.
Yeah, my floorboard continuously has water in it, and I'm like, what the F is going on?
Clogged.
Yeah, I think
clogged.
I think that's exactly what the problem is, but
yeah, clear it out and it won't do that.
Yeah, well, no stuff here. no duh, Sherlock. I'll say.
But literally, that happened to me when we got hit last year with all that rain in California. I didn't know that my sunroof had these little drains on each side. So it's a hole in the roof of your vehicle, and water's got to go somewhere. And if those drains get clogged, it goes inside your car. Good times.
So much fun. All right, so this, if you've been Googling, you might have seen a screen that looks a little bit different in your search results, and you find this little thing up top, and it's a summary. It looks a little bit different, and it says AI overview. So what this is all about is Google has upgraded its search engine. So happy for this. Yay! They've already controlled 98% of the internet traffic and the results and how they're parsed out and presented to you, so that anything off of the front page on pages 2 through, what does it say, like 67,000 results or whatever. No one ever reads past the first page. If you click onto the second page, you are so odd, or a researcher or something like that. But they've come out with this thing called the AI Overview, and there are financial concerns that it's going to drain revenue because of the sponsored ads and the little ad spots at the top. I don't give a crap about that at all. So you look at stuff and it tells you Google's AI thinks that this is what's relevant and true about what you're looking for. And they're using all of these innocuous examples, like in their press releases, like, oh, how to reupholster a chair, or how to get a stain out of a fabric sofa. That's what Google told us about in their press release for this and in their product demonstrations. So I typed in a bunch of how-tos, best way to, and da-da-da-da-da. So how to choose the best state. It gives you stuff like cost of living, job opportunities, climate, weather, totally normal stuff. But the problem is the actual results that were created by real people, not Google's AI, are pushed down the page where people don't read. So obviously, when you're getting into something that might be a little bit more important, like, hey, what nation's the greatest nation in the world to live in because of wealth, prosperity, opportunity? Maybe I want to find out where the most billionaires are. It gives you some stuff that's not true, like this one. Percentage of billionaires by nation. According to Huron Global 2024, China has the most billionaires in the world with 814, while the United States has 800. The very next sentence that this AI came up with says the opposite of that. The United States has the highest number of billionaires in the world with 814. But the very last sentence just said that China did. And then if you go down to the results, it actually has it straight. Yes, we have almost twice as many billionaires than China does. We do have the most billionaires. But when you're looking at stuff like the news, they take out the meat, they give you the headline, and the AI tells you what to think about it. And it's at the top of the Google page, and it's happening in real time. And if you've not seen this on your phone or on your browser, on your laptop, you'll start to see it. It's rolling out coast to coast, border to border, and then soon throughout the world. I don't think this is good. This is V for Vendetta-y for me, when they're like crafting the narrative in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing that scares me, and Jeremy was actually talking about this from the quartering earlier today, which is they're getting their information from other people that are dependent upon clicks. So they're taking a couple segments here, they're taking a couple segments here, they're putting it all together, and then those sites don't get visited anymore. Well, what happens to those creators? Eventually, it's going to dry up and they're going to go away. So where's the information going to come from?
That's a good point. AI? Yeah.
Come on now. It's just going to turn into the snake eating its own tail.
What were you going to say, Samantha? Yeah.
No, I was just agreeing. And obviously, we already have an entire generation coming up behind us that doesn't research anything, that isn't interested in facts, isn't interested in history, isn't interested in anything that, resembles anything close to reality. They want the top result. They want the immediate, whatever they see immediately right in front of their face. It is like the gospel truth. It is the doctrine. It is what it is. And essentially, we're screwed. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Clear it out.
I am trying to stop. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I don't want people to feel hopeless about stuff like this. We just need to be proactive and understand what's going on so that we can still instill the ability to research and look for things and, in our kids, in other people, and not just those quick little tidbits of information. It's just getting so much more difficult to navigate around these things. So yeah, it's definitely, it's terrifying, honestly.
Well, this generation that's coming up, all of their degrees are coming from the University of Dunning-Kruger. If they get it, they'll read 2 seconds off of Google, and then all of a sudden, they're a specialist without checking anything out. And Samantha's right. I mean, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm 50. Rex! Sorry about that. Rex, be quiet. Sorry, my dog's barking. But us Gen Xers remember when you could actually trust Google, that you could open up a Encyclopedia Britannica, or you could go to Google and you would have the same information. That's no longer true.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to mention this. I can't believe I forgot to mention this earlier in the show. This is actually my last stream on, I won't even go through all of the platforms. Obviously YouTube, this is my last stream there. But basically, if you want to watch the live show, you'll have to watch it on Rumble or on X. Of course, Samantha's platforms will still be up if you still want to multi-stream there. And until she decides she doesn't want to do that, I'm not going to go crazy and turn into a Q-tard and start saying all of the craziest things on the internet. It's just a decision that I've made. My wife supports it. Casey, we've talked about it for probably a year at this point. So I need to paint or get off the ladder. And, it's because I'm reading The Warrior Poet Way. That's what's going on. John Lovell is kicking me in the sack here is what's happening. But for us to win this culture war, and I can grow faster on YouTube. I've done it to whatever it was, 8,000 before it got nuked. And I can grow faster on certain platforms and playing by their censorship rules. But the reality is, if we're going to win the culture war, if we're going to do something of true consequence, yes, we need to get people where they are on these nutso platforms, and I'll make clips to try and do that. But it's going to win, it has to cost us something. We have to sacrifice something. And it's a little bit costly, and it's a bit of a sacrifice to go to these smaller platforms. Twitter's not a smaller platform. Elon Musk is a genius, and he's going to rocket ship that thing to the freaking moon. But I'm Team Rumble all day. Rumble is freaking awesome. It's tremendous what they've been able to accomplish. I'm proud to include their branding on the show. So if you want your chats read, you gotta comment them on Rumble. Like Renato here, Ryan. Yeah, it will say, yeah, and locals. It will say freaking China and Palestine for sure. But yeah, if you want to get your chats read, make sure that they get read, and we'll pick some, and Samantha can see them. If she sees some, we'll pick them and throw them up. But the chat that's in front of me intentionally is just the local or the Rumble chat. And of course, locals, we've been locals since day one. I think I was on the second month they launched. So the member only show, my account is under 1,000, so I can only do a 30-minute live stream. So members only immediately after the Thursday night live stream, about 9:45 to 10:15 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you sign up for that. The link is below. Ooh, this is a good time for me to test out the ticker that I made. All right, looks like it's working. Great. So yeah, the links are below. Thank you guys. There are over 1,000 of you over on Rumble now. It means a lot to me. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, sending it out to your friends. We really, truly appreciate it. But do that same stuff for Samantha's content. Links below. Outspoken Samantha, basically on all the platforms. And do the same thing for my man Casey Gates. Club Casey Gates on locals. Link is also below. I did the things. I did all the things. So
you got through it, dude.
You're watching, you're listening, just scroll down, hit like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think, how we can get better. And yeah, okay. Now we can keep going.
Well, I got to tell you guys, I could see YouTube eventually getting to the point where they won't allow you to talk about any other platform other than them. Seems like it's getting
YouTube's
like that
screwed.
pretty fast.
YouTube is losing so much for such a massive company owned by Alphabet, one of the like Roman Empire-esque type companies out there. They're losing ground, at breakneck speed. And I don't know how they're keeping up a facade. They basically Alphabet and Meta with Zuckerberg, they remind me of China. Like it's a smoke and mirrors type thing. They're not as powerful as everyone thinks that they are, but they should be considered a legitimate threat. So kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth there.
Well, I mean, that's probably the reason why they don't want you to talk. You think YouTube isn't feeling it? You know they are.
100%.
I keep talking about Jeremy from the Quartering, but it's, he's one of the main guys that's out there just going, he doesn't even say Rumble anymore. He took all the branding off of his backstage, or whatever you want to call it, his backdrop. Yeah, the greeny meanie is what he calls it now.
Yeah.
All right, cool. But at what point do you just say enough, like what we're doing?
Now for us.
You're right.
All right, so
when the rest of these guys can start falling in line.
Speaking of saying enough, let's go to this next story. Huge win. Huge. Thank you, Jessica. It looks like Tepe. Anyway, woke education systems are losing in court battles against courageous teachers. We had Tanner Cross here in Loudoun County a little over a year ago, fight and win for his job for refusing. Tanner settlements, I don't believe, is a matter of public record, but suffice it to say, Loudoun County, one of the wealthiest counties in the world, in the nation, in the world, the school budget is extreme. I think the sheriff's department is like $2 billion budget here. Anyway, breaking, Drupa USD in California paid, that's the name of this public school district here, has paid out a settlement of $360,000. So what they did was they said, hey, I don't care if you're a Christian, a Muslim, I don't care who you are or what you are. You got to bow down, kiss the ring, and do this gender ideology thing, or else. And everyone does it. But Jessica said, you can kick rocks. She pulled a full Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and said, no, not going to do it. Your golden statue, all of you guys can go kick rocks. So they fired her. And she said, I knew this would happen. So she filed a lawsuit claiming that her civil rights had been violated, a 1983 suit, and she was represented by Advocates for Faith and Freedom. I did not put their link down below, but just Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever you do to get information. Advocates for Faith and Freedom, definitely support this organization. They're doing pro bono cases, and they're doing really good work. I just want to read a quick quote here from her attorney. Today's settlement serves as a reminder that religious freedom is protected no matter your career. She continues to say, this is Julianne Fleischer, legal counsel for Advocates for Faith and Freedom. If the school district's actions were legal, no teachers of faith would be qualified to serve as a public school teacher. That is absolutely true. So hang on to that. And Jessica says, who's the complainant in the case, who, speaking of paying a price to win, she had to sacrifice tremendously, not being able to teach, not being able to work, to take this thing to court, taking all of the arrows for you, for me, for children. So she says, what happened to me can happen to anybody. Facts. And I want the next teacher to know that it's worth it to take a stand for what is right. I couldn't say it any better than that. Nothing is going to change if everyone continues to cower in the corner. We've got to get bold. We've got to get courageous, or we might as well throw in the towel right now. So what do you guys think about this story?
Well, isn't there a saying that once one person stands up, it becomes contagious?
Courage begets courage.
Group. There it is. Thank you.
You've been listening to Allie Beth Stuckey there?
Well, you've sent me a couple of links where I got a couple of books on the way as well. I don't know. It's probably. Yeah.
Samantha,
It was just one of those things where.
Did you ever work for school? Am I making that up in my mind?
Yes, you are definitely making that up in your mind.
Okay, cool.
I've never enjoyed working with other people's children, so just my own. I never babysat, never taught lessons, nothing. I'm like, no, I'm good. So no, that's not a thing that ever happened.
In my mind, Samantha's resume just grows and grows and grows every day. I'll be like, yeah, I think I knew this female fighter pilot. I think it was outspoken Samantha. It's like,
It was
That's right, the girl who
me.
built
Look at that
CERN
one
by
started.
herself, right? Yeah, I remember her.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah, right. No, I love seeing stories like this, and I think, it is a tough pill to swallow, to realize that the battle against good and evil, the battle between good and evil is so intense right now that there is no fight that you're going to engage in that's going to be easy. You're either going to be fighting against the woke to protect your family, to protect what's yours, to protect your property, to protect your rights, or you're going to be sitting in silence, doing nothing, and you're essentially going to be taken over by whatever they want you to believe and whatever they want you to think. But there's no easy path either way. So, I mean, you've got to accept that if you say nothing, you're going to be living by values that you don't agree with, and you're going to be forced to make decisions and live by things that you probably directly oppose, or you're going to have to take up this fight outside of it and say, I'm going to stand up for what's right and take that version of hard and hopefully have the outcome that we all hope for. But there's no easy path for either side. You've got to pick your hard, essentially.
Nothing worth doing is ever going to be easy to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I had Jewish
Well, and
grandparents. I have all these sayings in my head.
And I know that Joe and I talk about this a lot. I think the number of people that are just choosing to pretend that they don't have a place in either side of it, just by pretending that these things are not happening, just living in this space where if they ignore it, then they're not a part of it. It's going to be a major problem. It's going to be a major problem, particularly for them. Not picking a side is picking a side, essentially.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
Especially for the people who are, we were just talking about predators and prey. I mean, it's the people who are sticking their heads in the sand. Those are the first people that are going to die when, shit hits the fan. So it's, I don't know. I'd rather know what's going on around me.
Yeah. As hard as it is, I mean, I can only take so much in one day, but I pick a few different shows, a few different, news stories to think about, to look at, and then I take a break. So I'm not saying that people should be completely immersed in this all day. Definitely read your Bible, definitely spend time with your family, get involved in the positive, but you can't ignore what's going on. You have to be paying attention.
I agree.
Absolutely.
So, popping in on the Rumble chat, Dennison, man, I don't know what's going on with you. You say this is all another Tuesday for me. It's Thursday, my man. You're living in the past. I've been forced to live. That's why. Yeah, I've been forced to live in an immoral system that I oppose for my entire life. I feel that, and I will admit, for most of my life before I was a heathen, I wasn't really participating in all of the immoral wiles of the world, but I didn't know God and His plan and His just perfect peace. But yeah, now I'm aware, hey, I'm a sinner, I do terrible things, and I need, communion with God, and I need to have my sins forgiven. But I'm also aware, geez, the world sucks. Like, the school system sucks, the government sucks, my friends are doing stupid stuff. And, thank goodness for my wife. I feel like no one gets it. It's not just that the emperor has no clothes. It's like most people have no clothes on. Literally, I walk around and I get to know women way too well. because I can see all kinds of things just hanging out everywhere. And can I just say, shame on the parents that let their daughters dress like sluts. Can I just say that? Like, human trafficking is one of the top crimes in the world. Most women, like conservatively 1 in 4, but probably more, have been assaulted or harassed in some way, shape, or form. And you're letting your minor children dress like hoes. It's crazy.
No, absolutely. I don't know if I've shared this moment with you just in that vein, but my brother-in-law and his girlfriend are getting married in a couple months, and they asked my daughter to be the flower girl. And his girlfriend his fiance sent a picture of the dress that they thought would be cute for my daughter to wear. And I looked at it and I was like, I don't know. And so I showed it to in my brain, I'm like, no, she's not wearing that. Showed it to my husband and he was like, no. I showed it to my daughter and she's only 8 years old, guys. Showed it to her. I didn't say anything. I was like, this was the dress they suggested. She goes, that's inappropriate.
Boom.
I was like, thank you. She's like, can we get one that covers my shoulders? I was like, yes, please. So
yeah, we don't need 10-year-olds twerking down the aisle. And my people are the worst. Black America, oh Lord. I mean, some of the parties that my family has, I'm just like, my family is a tale of two cities. There's like high class, like breakout aristocrats, and then there's like just, I don't even know. I don't want to describe it. But hey, we disagree about so much, and you guys watch my show and send me texts, and we all live in civility, so thank you. But cover yourself up.
Telling my entire audience that I disagree with the decisions that you make in your life.
Oh yeah.
My thing is, I don't, you're like, well, how can you let your child do this? A lot of these parents aren't even paying attention. They don't care. Whatever, just, you're 16, you got a car, take off. I've seen it a lot.
Well,
in the world, not of the world. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
Well, I think it's interesting. No, it's totally fine. My husband and I were actually talking about this the other day. I feel like our society is literally being run by children. And not like adults, toddlers and adult bodies that we see at the college campuses right now. It's like if a kid sees something trending on TikTok, they go to their parent and their parent's like, yes, you must have that thing. If they go and they're like, I think I'm a boy when they're a girl, their parents are like, sweet. Yes, that's definitely a thing. Like, it's like our entire society is being run by the people with the least maturity, with the least level of experience, with the least, ability to make wise decisions for their well-being. And all of the adults are going, yes, absolutely. Like, they're not stepping in and trying to guide their kids at all. They're just concerned with their kid having whatever it is that they saw on social media or on TikTok and being the cool parent who got it for them first.
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Don't care at all to be a cool parent. I was just, dude, John Lovell is changing my life, and I don't even know the man. I was listening to an interview he had with, I think it was John Roseman, and they were talking about faith and raising kids, and Roseman is a psychologist, an old school psychologist, none of the new woke stuff. Like, case in point, he was the guy that posted the thing that I did a segment on, that diabetes is a reality, ADD, ADHD, behavioral disorders like, what is it called? Defiance disorder or whatever, authority defiance disorder. It's like, no, that's just a bad kid. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
Like, they just have a disorder where they defy authority. What? Like, are you stupid? And he's like, no, that's not a thing. I had a
Well,
moment
and I
in
have a disorder where I smack people up the side of the head when they say stupid things. So.
yes, slap a moron disorder.
It happens.
Oh man,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I had this time in my parenting journey when I was feeling over emotional. Maybe I was watching too much One Tree Hill or something. And I was like, hey, I don't really like to wait until your dad gets home, and or I don't want to be used as a weapon. And I was listening to these two men talk, and John actually felt like I felt like. I think it'll be I think it'll cause a rift between the relationship of the father and the children. And so they kind of cling to mom even longer than they should, especially little boys. And John Roseman said, yeah, you need to get over it. He was like, I don't care about your feelings. He was like, if your wife needs to use you as the weapon, as the consequence, giver, outer, then so be it. God disciplines those he loves. He said, you discipline those kids because you love them and you don't want them to turn out to be little a-holes and have to deal with the severe consequences of their actions. He's like, if your kids hate you, they will mature to understand and love and appreciate. And I'm like, nope, that's right. That's exactly my relationship with my dad, because he was a disciplinarian and I hated it. But now as an adult, I'm like, praise God that man spanked I didn't get away with anything. Nothing.
Well, that's the 5 most powerful words a mom can say to their kids is, I will tell your dad. I grew up in a community where somebody else's dad will come out and whip your ass if you screw up. We don't see that anymore either.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
now we have community policing. We need community spanking again.
Let's make that happen.
I got my ass whipped by somebody else's dad.
We were better off as a society when we recognized if there was a man in the room or a man in the vicinity, we got our act together. We don't have that anymore. Nobody is threatened by anything, and we see all these people like committing crimes and assaulting people in broad daylight. And you'll see like men standing there not doing anything. And these guys, they know they can get away with it because these guys aren't going to step in and stop it. And I think partially, obviously, we know that they're going to be penalized far harsher, worse if they stop it than the guy who's actually committing the crime. But, I think we've seen devastating effects by removing that power from men and removing that respect that we used to have of men, saying that, we know if there are good, strong men around, we've got to keep our crap together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just about to say something. Darn it, I forgot.
I'm having the worst tech reality right now. I just got a message that said that my individual recording has stopped. Then the stream is all good, but my hard drive, I've disconnected from my NAS storage. So my 2 terabyte hard drive is full or almost full. That's interesting.
Damn, son.
So I'm going to be hitting up that YouTube recording. Well, the NAS drive has terabytes to spare, but how did it get disconnected? What the crap? I'm glad that the computer's running well because I usually have 200 gigs of stuff on the machine. So what has happened? I blame China. Yeah, I could blame the American government. Who knows? Okay, so yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Oh, we need to bring back Spanx. All right. Do we want to talk about the U.S. Navy and their nonsense, or do we want to save that for the after show? I'll let you decide, Samantha. You're the one that rolls out. Stephen Crowder.
I don't know what's going on with the U.S. Navy right now, so I didn't get to watch that clip. I am all for talking about it if you want to bust it out. I just haven't had a chance to look at it, so it'll be a blind reaction from me. Perfect.
We're gonna bust it out, and we don't need to even watch the clip. But basically, if you're a fan of used to be Veritas, now it's O'Keefe Media Group, OMG. If you're a fan of that type of journalism, Steven Crowder has started doing that with, I think it's called Mug Club Undercover, where they basically, guys, they jump on dating apps.
Send people out to Honey Dick.
They jump on a dating app and LinkedIn, find people. This just happened to, I can't say that. Oh man, I almost said something I'm definitely not allowed to say. This just happened to an organization that is near and dear to my livelihood and the agency, where one of their personnel went on a date with an obvious reporter from O'Keefe Media Group. She was literally like asking questions like a journalist, like they were sitting down for a freaking podcast. Anyway, there's a lot of controversy about this because Crowder has done it. One of his gals got on the app, got the hidden cameras, recorded this guy who is reportedly the aide of the Navy's top admiral over diversity, equity, and inclusion. And apparently, so she is big into it, the admiral, but her male aide says that basically it's a joke. China's the biggest threat, facing America, and all of
to speak Chinese.
And he's saying all of the woke initiatives will fall by the wayside. They're not important. Nobody likes them. The soldiers, the Marines, the sailors, the airmen, the space cadets, whatever. He's like, they hate it, but they have to do it because the leadership, to appease the leaders. And reportedly, he says, and you can watch the footage and see him saying this, so not even reportedly. He said it. It's a waste of time. He says that he's a Democrat, but he's sure that Donald Trump is going to win the election. Interesting that he said that, again, the government is going to find ways to skirt around his, being Trump's, explicit directives and orders to do away with the critical race theory, the social emotional learning, the diversity, equity, inclusion. He says, we're going to ignore them. But he basically says, when a kinetic war kicks off, and it's not in Israel or Gaza, and it's not in Ukraine, but when it's the United States directly involved in a massive conflict, which he said it's going to kick off when China invades Taiwan, then the threat becomes real. Then the threat of bullets or bombs on American soil becomes palpable. He says all of the woke nonsense falls to the wayside, and it's going to be back to basics. The mission of the United States Army is to fight and win the nation's wars, no matter the domain, to fight and win the nation's wars, period. That's the whole mission. They added some other colorful language about being part of a joint force and blah, blah, blah. I don't care about all that. That's what the military does. That's the mission of the armed force. That's the point of having armed forces. Now, people are getting on Crowder's case because they're saying, this guy's a conservative. He agrees with us. No, you're being dumb. He literally says in the footage, I am a Democrat, but I think Trump is going to win. That's a verbatim quote.
Yep. Well, he also said that he's a senior chief in the Navy. I'm glad I actually went through the notes pre-show today. I was actually prepared today.
That organization.
For once. But that was one of the things that he was saying as well, is like it all really comes down to Trump. If Trump gets in, DEI goes bye-bye.
Yep.
If he doesn't, things are going to get a lot worse. Good times.
What does that even look like? Yeah. We've got military leaders dressing up like dogs.
Just as I'm just going to throw this out there, just in general, I mean, related to the military, but just with everything else, I just can't believe how often we hear when they're pushing this DEI, where they're pushing SEL, they're pushing all of these other things. All of the people that are putting it out there publicly behind the scenes know that it is garbage. I don't know that I don't think anybody that puts this stuff out there actually believes in it. So that means that all of the people that are subscribing to it, and they're, buying it, and they're eating it up, and they're making it their belief system. It's based on, it's coming from people who they themselves know that it is total crap, but they're taking it as
tribalism.
fact. They're taking it as gospel doctrine, and it's just, it blows my mind. And how often do we have to expose these things to say that behind the scenes, they all know that this is garbage. They are playing you. You guys are useful idiots.
Yep. Useful idiots.
Tulsi has talked about this a couple of times as well, where it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't agree with what my group is doing, but I'm going to agree with it in order to be part of the group. It's tribalism. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, what's the point of even having rational thought at this point?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is.
She
it's
needs to
insane.
Stop screwing around and just become a full board conservative and a full board Christian. Just stop holding
Tulsi?
on. Yeah.
I thought she. Oh, is she nonpartisan, or
she's a classical liberal?
Libertarian?
She's a classical liberal. She's a she's a Democrat, not a liberal, not a progressive.
I thought she left the Democratic Party.
She's one of those, the left me, like Elon Musk. She's a First Amendment purist. She's a Second Amendment purist. She understands that guns aren't just for fighting off criminals and self-defense, but they're for correcting and checking a tyrannical government. She's one of those soldiers that actually read the Constitution. I imagine she's read the Federalist, maybe even the Anti-Federalist. I'm going to shout out this YouTube comment here. Ryan, you are right, sir. Rumble is better. So if you guys are still watching on YouTube, get on over there to Rumble. X is a little bit weird. I can't figure out the comments on X. I can't figure out, is it a space or is it a stream? Like, what the heck is going on? I don't even know. Let's see here. There are... I can't even see the number. Sometimes there's like several hundred people in there watching live, and I'm like, I can't interact with you at all. Like, what are these bots? Or it's impossible to tell. I have no idea. Elon Musk, get it together.
Help.
Get it together. Please fix. PLSFIX. So
bring back 10% of the workforce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he freaking smoked that whole workforce. Those videos were great. Real quick, dude, you're fired.
Walking in with the sink, dude. Let this sink in.
Yeah. Before we land the plane here, and just as another shout out to Rumble, don't know how many, there's some, I don't know, people watching over there, but shout out to the people in the comments. Casey, always. Denizen, Zinrashu, Mr. Ryan, Renato Mannion. Shout out to all you guys. I hope I didn't miss anyone who left a comment. Thanks for watching. We will be landing this plane in just a moment. So while you're here, like, share, subscribe. Check out Outspoken Samantha's channels, her socials, her YouTube videos. I don't need to.
Sam even showed up sick.
Yeah, I don't need to appease Samantha. She's a big girl. Her channel, her content is one of the most underrated channels. The production quality is really good. Like that's fine, but the content, I don't even think it's right to call it analysis, but just the way that you talk about the stories, the videos, the articles that you go through on your channel, it's top notch. It's just as good as Jeremy with the quartering or a Tim Pool. So I feel like it's only a matter of time before you have a good breakout moment. And I'll be like, remember me? I had you on my show.
Oh, it's going to happen. Yeah. All you have to do is just
it'll
keep
explode on YouTube, and then they will just rip it out from under me. So.
and then you'll get nuked, and then you'll be right where we are.
It's about to be people with teardrop tattoos are about to be conservative creators that have had their channels nuked.
I know. It's fine. So subscribe on Rumble. I mean, yes, follow me on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, but go to Rumble. Let's build this platform up.
Yeah. Guys, it's real easy. The links are below. This is cold brew, YouTube.
Yeah.
This is water, I promise.
And this is a red Dixie cup.
Well, that's all I got, guys. We got the members only show. It's starting about 3 to 5 minutes after we wrap. Casey, anything to close?
Wow, it's always just great to hang out with you guys, and I don't know. It's nice to know that I'm not all alone. That a little bit of common sense.
You are all alone. You're in California. No one's coming to save you. Hey, where'd you get that sexy shirt? Is that an original? Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah. I know this guy online. He's got this show. You may have heard of it. I doubt it though.
This
that's right, people. Get your merch from Joe
Mobley guy.
That guy.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, you guys kind of look like. Next time I'm going to be on show, I'll wear my pink, my AR-15 identifies as stick shirt.
So I will tell you guys, you know what? Case has got a legacy shirt right now. I don't even sell this shirt, but if you want that vintage Let's Go Brandon action, then let me know in the chat and I will throw it back on the website for a limited time only. Only if you guys want it. If you don't want it, I'm not going to waste the time going through the redesign and the manufacturing and all that.
I'll tell you right now, I get a lot of compliments on it. A lot.
I've been wearing the Joe Biden 1-star would not recommend, and I get a lot of sales. I have a blue one, I have a black one, I have a gray one. I've worn it for like the last 3 days, and yeah, I give out a lot of discount
Being
codes.
in California, I do have a funny story about the 1-star Joe Biden shirt. I literally was standing in line at the grocery store, and the second I got up, the lady looked at my shirt, turned around and walked away, and somebody else, the manager, came back over to check me out. He's like, don't worry about her.
Dude,
like,
I don't know if I've
really?
told you this before. When I started the thing, I thought this shirt here, the uncloseted conservative shirt, would be the #1 seller. It's not. It's the Joe Biden 1-star would not recommend. I used to have one that was Kamala Harris 1-star would not recommend. It didn't sell well. I don't offer it anymore. The #1 demographic of people I sell it to is actually Californians. That shirt sells like hot potato. You are not the only one with the Biden 1-star shirt in California. It's I can't explain it. And the other demographics go up and down. Sometimes it's more male sales, but usually it's women heavy for whatever reason. I don't know. Come on, guys. Step your game up. Be bold. Be courageous. The women have all the balls in our society.
Keep in mind, California isn't LA and San Francisco.
Yeah.
There's a lot of conservatism in California. We're just not very vocal.
Yeah.
Until lately.
Yeah. Samantha, any last words? Why is it Casey again? Okay, well, I guess I'll...
The camera loves me.
It's true. Be sure to go on Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, subscribe, follow. I don't know what it is. Something set my Facebook page on fire recently. I've gotten like hundreds of new followers there, and I'm like, yay, but no, go to Twitter. So it's nice to see, but let's try to build up these other platforms. And I'm about to drop a video about the Harrison Butker speech, and I agree with him. Ladies, get back in the kitchen. So go check that video out.
My wife is currently pregnant. I know that she's barefoot because she hates wearing shoes. So it's really a 50-50 if she's in the kitchen or not. But she enjoys being barefoot and pregnant. And actually, that's not true. She's over the pregnancy at this point. She's ready to drop this baby any day now. She usually likes being pregnant, but at the end, I think all women are like, I'm over it. So,
Yep,
You told me 2 weeks
exactly.
ago she was ready to have.
dude, that's just how it goes.
What's the holdup,
She's
dude?
38 weeks. She's gone
Come on,
2
man.
weeks early. She's also gone 2 weeks late. So she's experienced the rare 42nd week of pregnancy. She was also pregnant in Oklahoma, where the summer it was 100 days of 100-degree weather. So, yeah, Eliza's a champ. So check her out on Instagram, Eliza Mobley. So many haters on her account. It's so great.
Ooh, I'll hop over there and defend her and fight with some of them.
It's so
and
hilarious.
tell them all to get back to the kitchen.
Oh my gosh. I am gonna PayPal you or Venmo. I know I'm black. I'm supposed to use Cash App. But yeah, coffee on me or whatever on me. Cash App, the Joe Mobley. Black people use Cash App. My barber uses White people use Venmo. When I'm doing a service, we bought dressers from a white family. I already knew Venmo. When I buy something from black people, it's Cash App. It's okay. It is what it is.
If my phone was within arm's reach right now, I would pick it up and show you that I use Venmo.
Yeah, I know, dude. You're right. I use both, I guess. Someone called me the other day. They were like, this guy, he's so waspy. He sounds like a white person. And then they said, in all their brilliance, you sound like a black Colin Powell. I was like, please read a book.
Ooh.
Colin Powell, are you talking about the first black Secretary of State? I'm a black him. Like, that he's black, right? But...
Right.
We were talking about Colin Powell being president way before Obama showed up, and he was just like, nope, not going to be the first black president. Not happening.
Dang, Dennison. Oh my gosh, Dennison in the chat. I use Cash App, banned from Venmo, # blacker than Joe. Dennison, apparently you are blacker than me. That's like getting fired on your day off. How the heck did you get banned from Venmo? Too many stripper payments? Like, what? No means no, Dennison. Okay, guys, it's been fun. This is the Joe Mobley Show. Like, share, subscribe. We're live every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 Central. What's Sam's info? What info are you looking